In Utah, just a fraction of reported sexual assaults are prosecuted.
And the KSL investigators have found here poor tracking and reporting throughout the state's criminal justice system makes it difficult to know the true scope of this problem. Tonight, Daniela Rivera examines how the system could do more for victims.
I was assaulted a couple days after I turned 15.
Just a teenager, she waited a year and a half before she told her mother.
She said that happened to me.
When it happened to me, I didn't know what it was, you know?
Because she is a minor, the KSL investigators agreed to conceal her identity and her mother's. She reported the assault to authorities in Utah County a year ago, in February 2021.
You know, and I thought they were gonna do some more investigating,
But for months, they heard nothing.
We haven't heard anything. I believe that it's just been dropped.
I wish I could say, oh, that's so unusual, but it's not.
Dr. Julie Valentine is a certified sexual assault examiner and BYU nursing professor at the forefront of sexual assault research in Utah. She studied prosecution rates in both Salt Lake and Utah counties and found for nearly a decade, only 11% of reported sexual assaults in Utah County were prosecuted.
This has got to change.
The study only focused on adult cases in which a forensic sexual assault nurse exam kit was completed. Valentine's research did not capture cases like this teen's with a delayed report and no forensic evidence.
I can only imagine that that's just a mere fraction of those cases that are reported that get prosecuted.
Valentine's research revealed a majority of cases died with law enforcement. In Utah County, she found 73% were not formally sent over to prosecutors. The most common reason, lack of evidence or unfounded.
Does that ultimately boil down to a system where women are not believed?
That's exactly it. Women are not believed.
The KSL investigators filed open records requests with the office of the top prosecutor in Utah's 10 most populated counties. We wanted to know how many rape cases law enforcement sent them during the last 5 years, how often they filed charges, and what the outcome was in court. We found some aren't tracking this at all, and among those that are, the data is mismatched and lacking uniformity. Washington, Davis, and Summit counties refused to provide any data. Box Elder and Weber counties couldn't tell us how many cases they received from law enforcement. Iron County only provided data going back to 2019, leaving just Cache, Utah, Salt Lake, and Tooele counties for our team to determine what percentage of cases referred by law enforcement were prosecuted. Cache County's data indicates all of them. Salt Lake and Tooele counties had the lowest prosecution rates at just 26 and 20%.
I should not need to be an outside researcher to get these numbers. This should be public record.
All of this underlines what Valentine sees as a core issue: uniform reporting and tracking of our criminal justice system's response to sexual assault is not required by Utah law.
It's never been introduced as legislation in Utah, but might be the great next step.
And we can't fix a problem if we don't know exactly where the problem is occurring.
Lieutenant Jason Randall supervised the Utah County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit for 8 years.
But for us, it's not about what we believe. It's about what we can prove.
He said the data provided by Valentine's research prompted improvements to their system and how they screen cases with prosecutors.
And they're trusting us as they're coming forward, and they're literally putting their whole story in our hands. We have to do better.
Randall believes the Sheriff's Office is now sending more sexual assault cases over to County Attorney David Levitt's office.
When we do a better job on our end, more women will report what's happening to them.
And Levitt told us his office is now doing more to track sexual assault investigations with law enforcement.
And then we can go back to the police agency and say, what about this case? What about that case? And so that they just don't die at the police station.
Still, some cases fall through the cracks.
I just don't feel safe.
This victim's mother called KSL after feeling they'd been left in the dark.
I just wanted to scream, like, who's going to help my daughter? Who's going to help her, you know?
So we asked both agencies where in the system this case stalled.
We did our investigation and then sent it over to the county attorney's office for them to review that case.
Randall says that happened in April of 2021. More than 5 months went by before Levitt's office sent an email to the detective saying the office was declining to prosecute.
Is that a normal amount of time for your office to get to a case and screen it?
No, it's not.
Levitt says mistakes were made at every level of the system with this case, including failures to notify the victim about a charging decision. But he says the case has been reopened since we started asking questions.
This case got a new look because you made me aware of it, for which I'm really grateful.
Are there more out there like her?
Absolutely.
How can we tell these young girls and even young boys that they're protected?
It's not right.
Valentine says Utah has to fix this system to better protect and support victims who come forward.
And if we want to be a healthier state, a safer state, then we need to say, we've got to do more on prosecuting these cases.
Valentine said it's important that victims and survivors continue to come forward, not just to report, but to take advantage of free resources that are available. Anyone who has experienced sexual violence can access services by calling Utah's 24-hour sexual violence helpline. We've also posted this number and other resources online at ksltv.com.